Hi everyone. Well, we did an in-depth review looking at this beautiful bottle. Now it's time to taste what's inside. We're going to review Colonel E.H. Taylor Small Batch Bottled in Bond. Beautiful bottle, very detailed, did a great examination of it. But let's get to what really matters, and that's the liquid inside. I already know what's inside here. I have had it. Again, as I said in my last video and previously, I've only purchased this bottle once before, and I got it for $40 several years ago. Since then, it's been $200 north. Anywhere I've seen it in New Jersey, behind the glass, behind the counter. Finally got this at a fair price last weekend at Empire Wine and Liquor in Staten Island, New York. Great place. Definitely highly recommend. This bottle is just one of my favorites. Had pours of this and just absolutely love it. But let's take a fresh look at it, fresh pair of eyes. I have not done a TikTok review on this. The last bottle I purchased was pre-TikTok days, so let's actually do a review from scratch. Company, Sazerac Company, Inc. Distillery is, of course, Buffalo Trace. The proof is 100 proof, bottled in bond with all the qualities and all the characteristics and requirements of bottled in bond. The age is non-age dated, but by being a bottled in bond, automatically that means it has to be at least 4 years old. It could be older, but it's not age stated officially, but we know it's at least 4. Mash bill, of course, being a Buffalo Trace product, what does that mean? It means that the mash bill is undisclosed because Buffalo Trace just keeps this a secret. However, we do know this is mash bill number 1, which is their low rye mash bill, which means basically it is assumed that it is a rye content of less than 10% or 10% and less. So that's basically the characteristics. The same mash bill as the Buffalo Trace flagship, the same mash bill as the Eagle Rare 10-year, which, by the way, I already have in my head. Once we do this, we're going to do other reviews comparing that, do it blind. Got a lot of stuff in mind because I'm really happy to have this. But basically, this is the introductory bourbon in the E.H. Taylor line. This is the, well, I don't know if you call it the entry level. It's the basic one. You got the single barrel, the barrel proof, the rise, and a whole bunch of other ones. And with the exception of the barrel proof, I believe all the E.H. Taylors are, in fact, bottled in bond 100 proof. And basically, this is a bottle to honor the legacy of Colonel Edmund Haynes Taylor Jr., who purchased the OFC distillery, which is now Buffalo Trace. He purchased that at the end of the Civil War, and basically became a legendary figure in Buffalo Trace and in bourbon history, and the history of whiskey in America in general. And basically, the bourbon is aged in the old warehouses that he built, and so supposedly I assume this liquid is aged in these special warehouses. And basically, this is a small batch, so in a theory, it's less barrels. Well, that's a very not an exact figure, because Pearl Match could be two barrels, it could be 200 barrels, but supposedly it's basically they pick certain barrels, but these certain characteristics they're looking for to get in that blend, and that's what this is. So I am super interested to revisit this. I had not, like I said, owned this bottle in several years. My first TikTok review. So without further ado, let us crack this beautiful bottle open. Okay, so we got this poured up. That was an outstanding cork pop. Didn't expect anything less. The cork is kind of actually a little, maybe on the thin side. I don't think any of the Buffalo Trace corks are that thick, but it's a good cork pop, and what matters is what's inside this beautiful bottle. I haven't been this excited for a review in I don't know how long, and I've reviewed a lot of good bottles, but really looking forward to this. Oh, that's just that beautiful classic Buffalo Trace distillery note. Not the Buffalo Trace, but it's basically, it already just smells like a refined version of your Buffalo Trace and Eagle Rare. Oh, it's great. Now, remember, in my comparisons, because I'm going to be doing this against those, this is a 100 proof bottle in bond. Buffalo Trace and Eagle Rare are 90 proof. So that definitely, I think, will make a little bit of a difference if I recall. All right, let's taste this beautiful whiskey. Cheers. Oh, that is a good pour. That is a good pour. Never really looked at it this way, but this really coats the glass nice. That extra 10 proof points does really, I think it definitely gives it a little more oomph than your 90 proof Buffalo Trace and your 90 proof Eagle Rare. And actually, even thinking of another one, the rye recipe Buffalo Trace Kosher, which is kind of the same recipe, but 94 proof. But this 100 proof, this just drinks like butter. As we say in New York, New Jersey, butter. I mean, I don't know how, it is a buttery mouthfeel, delicious, classic, caramel, vanilla. And I will say, for a bourbon with a long rye mash bill, under 10%, not that there's anything dramatic, but even with a low rye mash bill, it's just subtly enough just to give it a little bit of light spice on the back end. But I think at this proof point, with this mash bill, this is fabulous. This is just fabulous. I am going to do a blind in the upcoming days. At some point, I'm going to do a blind, maybe the next review. But I'm going to be doing a blind with this against Buffalo Trace Flagship and Eagle Rare 10 years. Since before, while I still have it, before it's gone, I'm going to compare these two. In my head, I would think this is the best. I would think Eagle Rare next, Buffalo Trace next. The Buffalo Trace is not a store pick. The Eagle Rare is. This is everything I remember. And this is even better doing this on TikTok right now for everyone here. So this is definitely, this can't be whiskey of the year because it's not new this year, but if it just came out, it certainly would be a contender of the top 20 at least. But in any event, this does not disappoint. This is exactly as I remember it, the same if not better. So I'll put it to you this way in closing: no, it's not. Nobody should have to pay these 200 plus price points at all. It is way marked up. But on the flip side, $40 MSRP or 50 or 60, whatever that is. I mean, paying MSRP and maybe just a drop more for it, not $200, but maybe a drop more for something fair. I think this bottle is definitely worth that. Certainly if it was a $40 MSRP, this is a very, very nice bottle. And the thing is, I've not tasted any of the other EHTs, not the single barrel, not the barrel proof. I can imagine loving high proofs that the barrel proof would be just outstanding. And I think the rye would be good too, even not being a rye drinker. But this is the one I've had before, and this is the one I have right now. And thankfully, I actually have a bottle on the shelf, and I'm going to enjoy it. Cheers. Have a great weekend. Take care.